Conception does not guarantee manifestation. Now, what I mean by that is bird and a fish created by God. The fish was created to do what? Swim. So fish do not attend swimming lessons. I know it sounds simple, but it's very important. Why? Because swim is built into the fish. Why? Because God demanded the fish to swim. So he put the ability in it. Birds were designed by God to fly. So birds don't attend flight school. Flight is built in. I like this one. Seeds. Seeds were designed by the Creator to bring forth trees. You'll never find a seed attending a tree growing convention to learn how to grow trees. Why? Where's the tree? Trapped on the inside. In other words, whatever God created something to do, he built it in. Your culture and your educational system doesn't allow you to discover that. We are educated to be employed, not to be deployed. Seeds deploy themselves and become trees. Fish deploy themselves and they swim. Birds deploy themselves and they fly. We are the only creatures God created who don't deploy ourselves because our culture doesn't allow it. Gotta get free from the culture. And it's seminars like this that make you begin to have a meeting with yourself. Discuss yourself with yourself and say to yourself, self, am I who I really am? You know, here's my conviction. This is why I believe that buried in every human being is a leader, trapped by an erroneous philosophy that you were born to follow. Let us make man to have what? Dominion. To govern, to rule, to lead, control. Which means that somewhere inside of you is a ruler, a controller, a leader, a dominator. Somewhere in there. Because he would not have demanded it if he didn't inject it. Which means that your ability is determined by your responsibility. Your potential is designed by your purpose. Your potential is equal to what you were born to do. The best example I can give you is this car. Look at this car. All cars have what they call a speedometer. Am I right? Well, here's an old one, old Chevy. Now, if you look at the numbers have to 160 miles per hour this car can travel. All of your cars have that kind of registration, sometimes 200, 180. Everybody got that, right? Okay. Now, when you bought the car, that was on the car. You bought the car with it. It was on it. 180 miles per hour. I'm getting ready to go. Okay. I'm so excited. Okay, so you bought this car, brought it home, and the manufacturer says this car can travel 180 miles per hour. How can the manufacturer put that on there? What makes him so sure that this vehicle could travel 180? That's the first question. The second question is, have you ever traveled 180 in that car? No. Let me tell you how stupid our philosophy of our countries are. We sell a car that could travel 180 and put a sign up 50 miles per hour. It's amazing. It's crazy. I don't understand it. I have no idea how they got this idea. I don't know where it comes from. But it tells you the nature of your culture. Don't buy it. They give the company permission to build the capacity, but restricts your ability to use it. And you never thought about that. And that's the way they think about you. So all your life, you can make 180, but you've been traveling for 50 years at 60 miles per hour, and you think you're living. The capacity is present. Our culture says you can't go any further. And God says, press the accelerator. And your culture says you can't go any further. You can go no faster. You got to make a decision tonight, see?
I love my mother, but I'm not giving my mother control over my life. My mom got control of her life. She don't get to have control. Somebody missed what I said. My mom don't have the right to tell me what to do with my life. My mom trained me and I'm on my own now. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So number two, you got to get this. The only way you're going to get to where God would have you to go is to have control, because God has given you the freedom of choice and he ain't gonna make you do nothing. So number two, I need you to take the control back so you can get what God has for you. Now here's the third thing, and we're gonna get to the message that God told me to tell you. God told me to tell you to stop making plates for people who just trying to take it to go. Write that down. No, God told me to tell you, stop making food for folks that just wanted to go plate. He told me to tell you that there's somebody in the room, your life is screwed up because you making food for people who just wanted to go plate. You are a great good person. You phenomenal. You got it going on. You making all these great meals, and it's a whole bunch of people coming to your house. And listen to me very closely. My grandma taught me when I was young. My grandma had 14 kids who all had kids. And my grandma said, I will cut you. You can eat as much food as you want at the house. But if I swear if one of y'all little jokers take some out this house, you get in the business in front of your mama. In front of your, because I used to whip their butt. I'm whipping your butt too. With a switch. Don't take no food out of my house. You can eat as much as you want when you here, but do not pack a plate. And most of y'all running with people who, when you fix food, they come to your house and take it to go plate. They don't bring nothing. They not trying to help you. All they in your life to do is take. And you wondering why your life messed up, because you with takers. You done made a whole spread and they just coming in. They can't even say, they don't have the decency to say hi and thank you. You so ignorant though. You just so geeked to have them coming to so-and-so came to my house. I'm so glad they came over. Listen to me. I promise you there's some other folks who cooking or who would bring at least something to drink and some cups that would love to come to your house. You ain't got to put up with that mess. And so in 2019, God told me to tell you, your life gonna go to a whole nother level if you just get rid of folks who bring it in to go container. You already know who they are too. As soon as I said it, you already knew who you like. See, they'll never bring nothing. You didn't even notice at first until it came in the atmosphere. Then all of a sudden you was like, you're right. They always taking. I tell my babies all the time, it ain't nothing wrong with helping, but you can't help when you ain't got nothing. You got to have something first before you can help somebody. I couldn't do this if I was broke. The plane tickets cost money. The hotel I'm staying at in Buckhead costs money. I couldn't do this if I was broke. I couldn't be a blessing of you if I was broke. And most of y'all, you broke and you trying to bless somebody when you broke. You ain't that desperate for company. You can't be that desperate to have somebody at your house. And he keep eating at your house but going to stay at her house. I'm just trying to help somebody. She coming to get a plate from your house, but she's sleeping at his house. Ain't nothing wrong with getting a plate, boo, but you're gonna have to stay. You're gonna have to at least stay. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put it in so you can understand. And so God is blessing you, but the little resources you got, you're giving them away. So what you're gonna have to learn how to do is you're gonna have to learn to bring people in your life.
You gotta pick certain things that motivate. The number one motivating thing for me, and I'm just being honest, was I was sick and tired of being poor. I was just exhausted. My mother was poor, my father was poor, my brothers and sisters were poor, all my friends were poor, all my relatives were poor. I lived in a poor neighborhood, we lived in a poor house. I was just like, wow, man, I watch TV. And I would see, like at Christmas time, my father would put us in the car and take us out to the suburbs to see the Christmas lights. And I would see these big houses, man, with lights all on them, and they had horseshoe driveways where you just pull in and go all the way around. That was amazing to me. We would pull up in the driveway, got a back out. I've been doing that. And I kept saying, I told my father, I said, Dad, I said, why don't we get one of these houses? He said, boy, I ain't got no money for this kind of house. He said, but if you work hard, keep going to church like your mama say, you can make some money, you can buy you one of these houses. That was it. My motivation was to buy a big house so I could put up Christmas lights and drive in the driveway. And I'm gonna tell you something. Every home I have, every house I've ever owned or built, you got to pull in one way and drive all the way around to come out there. I have never built, lived, or owned a home that did not have that driveway with gates on both sides. Never. That was the biggest motivating. So my advice is you have to find a dream that's so big that it overwhelms all of your fears and causes you to never give up. Now, you're going to think about quitting no matter what you do. I mean, I've thought about it many times, but I always just kept thinking about that house. And I've always dreamed of buying my mother and father a real house. And before they died, I was able to do all of that.
Life can be brutal. Life can be unforgiving. If I had to sum up in one word the difference between the greats and the average, the difference between the successful and the nobodies of the world, one word, one attribute to describe the difference: discipline. If you don't have the discipline, you can forget about the trophy. You can forget about the success, the greatness. All champions have discipline. It's the discipline to work hard.